welcome to another video. Today I'm going to go over quickly how to rotate the tires on your Tesla. You're going to need a few things to get started. So I have my wrench. You need a certain size depending on the nut on your tires. I'm not going to tell you which size because it might depend on the car and you might have switched out the bolts. So anyways, I have my wrench. I have my jack. I also recommend that you have a jack stand, especially if you don't have anyone helping you. I'm gonna only have the car on the jack for a minute or two at most while I swap out the tires, so I'm not gonna put the jack stands on, but that is the safest way to do it. So if you do it, use the jack stand. I have a ProLift low profile jack. The reason you need a low profile jack on your Tesla, especially the Model 3, is because you're gonna use a puck. This puck is gonna help you protect your battery pack from punctures in case your jack were to slip. So if you look under your car on the front as well as the back, you're gonna see a couple of ports where this thing will insert. So on my car, it's right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert this puck. It's almost like a hockey puck right there. Then I'm gonna slide the jack in carefully right in the center and start lifting. Alright. I'm going to make sure the jack is in lock position so it doesn't fall back on me. I'm going to lift it up carefully until I'm sure that my jack sits in the center of the puck so as to not slide off and damage your battery pack. This is extremely important because if you have to replace a battery pack for injury from this, it's going to be pretty expensive. So you need to be very careful. Okay, so before I lift it up all the way, I'm going to go ahead and take the caps off my lug nuts here. And I'm going to take the lug nuts not all the way off, but I'm going to make them loose so that I can take them off with my hands after I have the tires off the ground. So I'm not going to take them off all the way because you do risk the tire falling off if there's a little bit of an angle on how your floor is sitting. So I'm going to leave the lug nuts on so as to protect the rims. You do need some help, or you can be just very careful and use your jack stand, because if you're just the one person, you might drop a tire and damage your rims. And trust me, you definitely don't want that because the rims do stick out past the tire. So you will definitely scratch them up if you drop them. I forgot to mention is before you start, you want to press and hold your park button for about a couple of seconds and it'll engage your parking brakes. And they'll keep your car from rolling. So what I'm going to do is make sure they're unscrewed most of the way, but not all of the way, just to protect my tires and rims from falling off. Alright, so now we're going to lift the car off the ground, especially the tires off the ground. And I'm just going to make sure that my stand remains in the center of the puck, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and start lifting. You don't need to get it off the ground too much. As soon as it's off the ground enough for you to take the tires off, you can go ahead and swap them out. Now there are tons of things you can do to make your tire rotation safer. Biggest thing you can do is have jack stands, and you can put a jack stand in the back to kind of protect your car from falling off the jack if your jack fails. I have great trust in this jack. I've used it a few times. I'll leave a link to the jack below. I bought it off of Amazon. It's a ProLift 2-ton jack. It's a low profile jack, which is very important for your Model 3s, perhaps even the Model S's. So I have the front tire off the ground. I can hear the back tire creaking, so it's about to be off the ground. You do want a little bit of clearance, at least an inch or so you can easily slide it off and not have to struggle to squeeze it out. So I don't see it completely off the ground yet. it appears to be off the ground now. I'm just going to give it a couple more pumps to make sure I have enough room. I used to use the back jack point to because I used to feel like I have to lift it up too much in the front, but it turns out that you have to lift it up about the same amount front or back. So I go ahead and use the front jack point now. I don't know if it matters. I'm going to take the lug nuts off. I'm going to put them safely to the side here. Take the top wheel and the tire off. I'm going to leave it here. Make sure it doesn't fall off. Take these off. Put them here safely. Now you don't want to delay when you're not using the jack stand, because obviously you do have a chance of your jack failing, and that's why I keep reiterating it's probably the safest to use a jack stand. I'm not liable for your car getting damaged if you do it my way. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments about how it's safer to use a certain thing. Just going to leave it right there. I'm going to put the other tire in so as to go. So now that I have both tires in, even if the jack fails and the tires fall, or the car falls off the jack, I'm not going to cause any damage because I have both the tires in. So I don't know what the time stamp is, but it probably took me about a minute or two to get both the tires swapped. And that time is when I took the risk of not having a jack stand on. I'm going to go ahead and screw the lug nuts back on. Now the way to do the lug nuts, put the lug nuts back on, is you have to push the tire or the wheel in while you're pushing it in, while you're putting the lug nut in. So here we go. I'm using my knees to push it in. I'm gonna go ahead and screw the lug nuts in. And I'm gonna push the top in, screw the top lug nuts in, and repeat. Bottom again, top. Okay. Now I'm going to do the front. And then of course you repeat the same process on the other side. And it takes you about, I would say, 30 minutes with a good jack to do both of these, which is really not that long. Tesla is going to charge you about $100 or $150 to rotate your tires. It's probably a worthy investment on a jack and a jack stand to get it done yourself every 7,000 or 8,000 miles. That's what I do. I do it every 7,000 or 8,000 miles. I still have my original tires on my car. I have 25,000 miles on my car, a little over that, and this is my third rotation. I think I've went a little over this time around. I think I'm at 9,000 miles. Just got busy. Okay, so then you take the rod off, and there's a little screw device. Put that in, and you slowly lower the car. There you go. And don't forget the pump. Just go back and forth on your pump until it slides out. And there you go. And I'm gonna go ahead and once the tire is down all the way, you're gonna make sure that you tighten the lug nuts all the way, both sides, all 5 lug nuts. Repeat on the other side, and you're good to go. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and be safe while you're doing it. And again, I'm not responsible if you get hurt or your car gets hurt while doing it. There are safer ways, and there are professionals who can do it. So if you don't feel safe doing it, don't do it. It's not really worth saving $100 to damage your car. But if you feel comfortable, you've done this in the past, go ahead and do it. Your Tesla Model 3 is barely any different than any other car. Be safe, use your puck, and use your jack stand. Again, thank you for watching.